Hello, this is Sandy Leveque, and I want to share with you something that you might not know about me, which I haven't really talked much before about, and I'd really like to share it with you today because I think it's quite common and a lot of people don't talk about it. And it's actually that I used to have really low Eek. Oh no. Well, what I wanted to share is that I used to have a lot of low self-confidence because I found it quite hard to talk like I am right now. And as I just brought that up, it reminded me how much this used to be a really difficult thing for me. And sometimes when I think about it and I realize how much it's changed, I get quite emotional, like right now. But the thing that I was going to say before I burst into tears is that it was really hard for me to get my words out. And as you might be able to hear now, I can actually speak quite clearly, but it's been quite a slow process to get to that point. And what happened was that in my teenage years, I started having some kind of disconnect between what was going on in my head, in my being, my soul, and what was coming out of my mouth. So I would have all this stuff I wanted to say to people, and then when it came to speak, it would all jumble up. And I even went into a job where I had to speak in public, and I was lobbying, I was speaking to politicians and journalists, and it was almost like a way of forcing myself to get through it. But what I found was that I was doing it with so much negative critique inside myself about the speaking thing that it seemed to make me get ill. Like I started having migraines to the point where I would go to bed early, at least once a week, at 5 o'clock. I started having really bad nosebleeds, and would go and do my political lobbying with toilet rolls in my handbag so that if my nose did start to bleed, I wouldn't have to run out holding it up. And what happened is that I realized that I had to change something. I wasn't quite sure what. And at that time I started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I noticed that you could make a video and talk to tons of people without being face to face with them. And it made me realize that you didn't have to do what you wanted to do by physically speaking to people. And I've always wanted to leave the world a little bit different from how I found it, whatever I can do to help that. And I never quite knew what, but I always, at 12, 13, I would write to newspapers in my area and write about animals that were being mistreated, and I always had this strong caring for the planet and wanted to do things to help it, but I couldn't speak, and it was really frustrating. So anyway, I started making videos, and I came across a blogging platform called the Empower Network, and I'd watched my team leader do phenomenal videos for a year where he did something different every day, InspirACTION, and I thought, oh, hang on, maybe I could make a video every day and get through this. And it started I started to be able to speak faster, more clearly, and it became easier to speak in everyday situations as well. So I really wanted to share that in case you've been in a similar situation, and to know that it can change. It doesn't have to be something that you have to go and see lots of therapists about and do lots of physical stuff. A lot of the time I think it can come from other things, from things that we can't consciously, we're not consciously aware of it, but it's there. And what I found for video blogging is that you work through that, and you go through your difficulties, and you go out of your comfort zone, and it starts to become easier to talk and easier to express what you've got to say. So I think it's a travesty if there's anyone who has things to say and feels they're not good enough to say them, because I really believe that we all have something to say. So for me, the beauty of this blogging platform I'm using is that it gives people a way to be themselves and to express themselves, and they don't have to be perfect when they're doing it, as you can see right now. you can use it to create personal transformation as you're doing it. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And if this has, spoken to you in any way, or you know someone who has had difficulty literally speaking, then I'd really appreciate it if you can share this with them, and click on the link below to get more information about the blogging platform. Because if you felt like you can't express yourself, or that because you can't express yourself, what you have to say has no value, then I really urge you to think again, look at that again, and to just change it. Click on the link below and choose something different, because there's something different available for you. I know that. Thank you for watching, and thank you for bearing with me on this emotional video.